They were interested in someone that could do karate in a film.
This is the story of a man who defied every expectation. A man who broke barriers, not just with his fists, but with his presence. In a time when martial arts on screen was dominated by Asian stars, he walked in, an African-American athlete.
He was the first African-American to do karate in major films.
With electric charisma and deadly skill. Jim Kelly didn't just fight. He danced with danger, smiled in the face of violence, and changed the face of cinema forever. His journey wasn't about fame, it was about purpose, pride, and power.
I fought the best. I trained with the best. I know great martial arts.
So how did a Kentucky-born football player become a martial arts legend? Let's find out. Jim Kelly's untold story. Before the fame, before the high kicks and cool one-liners, Jim Kelly was just James Milton Kelly, a small-town kid from Millersburg, Kentucky. His early life wasn't documented much, almost as if the world wasn't paying attention yet. His father worked with the U.S. Navy, running a locker rental business, a quiet profession that had nothing to do with Hollywood lights or martial arts tournaments. But young Jim had something brewing inside him, a restless energy that wouldn't sit still. At Bourbon County High School, he channeled that energy into sports. Football, basketball, track. He was always moving, always pushing his limits. Later, at the University of Louisville, he played football with dreams of a different kind of stardom. But something shifted after his freshman year. He walked away, not because he was lost, but because he had found something else, something ancient, something powerful: karate. Jim didn't just study martial arts, he devoted himself to it. Under Sin Kwang Thay, a master of Shaolin Do, Jim went deep into the discipline. He trained in Okinawan Shorin Ryu, absorbing its tradition, its purpose. This wasn't about fame, it was about control, about honor, and about identity. When he stepped onto the tournament floors in the early 1970s, he wasn't just another fighter, he was the middleweight champion. A calm storm with lightning-fast strikes and a presence that made people watch. Not many knew where he came from, but they knew he was here, and something big was about to begin. Breaking into Hollywood. Jim Kelly's journey to Hollywood wasn't paved with auditions or agents. It began in his dojo, a place of discipline, sweat, and silence. After dominating the karate circuit in 1971, winning several titles including the prestigious World Middleweight Karate Championship at the Long Beach International, Kelly became a name within the martial arts community. But outside that circle, few knew who he was. That changed unexpectedly in 1972. Actor Calvin Lockhart, preparing for a role in the film Melinda, needed martial arts training. Someone pointed him to Jim. Lockhart showed up at Kelly's dojo, but so did the film's director, Hugh Robertson. What they saw in Jim wasn't just skill, it was presence. He moved like a warrior and spoke with calm authority. They offered him more than a trainer's credit. They gave him a role. Kelly was cast as Charles Atkins, a martial arts instructor, a role originally meant to be background, but on screen, he didn't blend in. He stood out. His movements were fluid, his demeanor magnetic. Audiences didn't just see a fighter, they saw someone real, someone powerful. It wasn't acting, it was just Jim being Jim. That first role opened a door, but not just for Kelly. For the first time, Hollywood saw a black martial artist who didn't fit the usual mold. He wasn't comic relief, a sidekick, or a villain. He was an expert, the teacher, the real deal. And from that moment, Jim Kelly's quiet revolution had begun, fueled not by ambition, but by authenticity. Enter the Dragon and global recognition. In 1973, Jim Kelly entered a new realm of recognition with Enter the Dragon. Produced by Bruce Lee, the film was already destined to be iconic, but Kelly's role as Williams turned it into something greater. He played a smooth, sharp, confident martial artist, a Vietnam veteran who didn't flinch in the face of violence. He didn't just fight alongside Bruce Lee, he held his own. Kelly's towering afro, calm voice, and crisp moves made him instantly unforgettable. In a genre long dominated by Asian actors, here was a black man showing the same mastery, the same intensity, but with a distinctly different kind of presence. He wasn't there to imitate. He was there to represent. Off-camera, Bruce Lee and Jim Kelly shared something deeper than just scenes. They shared mutual respect as martial artists. Both came from worlds that rarely overlapped in Hollywood. Both had something to prove, and both understood the power of image. Enter the Dragon made Jim Kelly a global figure overnight, but his presence in that film wasn't just about action, it was cultural. It showed audiences, especially black viewers, a new kind of hero. One who didn't shout, didn't chase approval, but moved with purpose. That single role changed his life and helped change the way the world saw black martial artists forever. The rise of a new kind of hero. Following the success of Enter the Dragon, Jim Kelly was no longer just a martial artist. He was a leading man. Hollywood took notice, and so did a movement. The 1970s saw the rise of blaxploitation films, a genre that finally gave black characters the spotlight as heroes, not sidekicks. Kelly became one of its most distinctive faces. In Black Belt Jones, 1974, he played a karate master fighting to protect a friend's dojo. It was fast, stylish, and unapologetically cool. He wasn't trying to copy Bruce Lee, he was building his legend. That same year, he starred in Three the Hard Way, a bold action film tackling a fictional plot to wipe out black communities. Jim played Mr. Keys, a martial artist who didn't just fight. He stood for something. He took on roles that blended action with pride, purpose, and identity. He wasn't just kicking bad guys, he was representing a generation tired of being pushed aside. Films like Golden Needles, Take a Hard Ride, and Black Samurai expanded his reach, but the message stayed clear. Jim Kelly was here to challenge the system, both on screen and off, with fists raised and head held high. Now, first, like always, be sure to hit the like button down below. It helps us out tremendously with the reach of this video. Thank you. Beyond the spotlight. By the early 1980s, the spotlight began to dim. The martial arts craze faded, and Hollywood's interest in blaxploitation dwindled. But Jim Kelly didn't chase fame. He quietly stepped away, not out of defeat, but by choice. He had always been more than the movies. Outside the screen, Kelly continued to live with discipline and grace. He returned to his roots in martial arts and focused on tennis, a sport he had always loved. He played professional tennis through the USTA and remained active long after his film career had slowed. While many struggled to stay relevant, Kelly stayed grounded. He never begged for roles or tried to reclaim the past. He valued peace over popularity, something rare in a world that often forgets its heroes. In his later years, he made occasional appearances, like his role in Afro Ninja in 2009, but never sought the spotlight again. To many, his exit felt quiet, but to those who truly watched, it was powerful. Jim Kelly walked away the same way he entered, on his terms, with integrity, with strength. A warrior not just in combat, but in the way he lived his life. Love, loss, and legacy. Behind the sharp moves and screen presence was a man with a quiet, personal life. Jim Kelly loved deeply, though he didn't speak much about it publicly. In 1967, he married his college sweetheart, Marilyn Dishman. The marriage was short, ending in divorce a year later, but they had a daughter named Sabrina. Later, he shared a relationship with actress Rosalind Miles, known from Three the Hard Way. In 1980, he married Marcia Bentley, the woman who stayed by his side until the end. As the years passed, Kelly kept a low profile. Few knew he was battling cancer. On June 29, 2013, the world lost him. He died at his home in San Diego at the age of 67. His passing didn't make headlines the way his punches once did, but the silence that followed was louder than any tribute. He left behind more than just films. He left behind a legacy of strength, pride, and representation. For every kid who saw themselves in his powerful stance, for every actor who walked through the doors he kicked open, Jim Kelly remains a name that means more than martial arts. It means possibility. It means power with purpose. The dragon never dies. Though Jim Kelly is gone, his spirit hasn't faded. His influence still echoes in fight scenes, in cultural shifts, and in every black martial artist who dares to dream bigger. He wasn't just a fighter on screen. He was a warrior for change. He showed that a black man could be calm, wise, dangerous, and dignified all at once. That mattered then. It still matters now. Modern stars like Wesley Snipes, Michael Jai White, and countless others walk through doors Jim kicked open decades ago. His style, grace, and presence are still studied, still admired. Not because he tried to become a legend, but because he never tried to be anything but himself. Even Bruce Lee recognized that spark in him. They didn't need to speak often. Their language was movement, respect, and discipline. Their time together in Enter the Dragon became the stuff of history, and that one role etched Kelly's name alongside the greats. Fans still revisit his films. New generations discover his effortless power. But what they often find isn't just action, it's pride, it's resistance, it's beauty and strength. Because in the end, legends like Jim Kelly don't fade, they echo, they inspire. The dragon never dies. Jim Kelly didn't need a long list of movies to make his mark. What he gave the world was far more lasting, a new image of what a hero could look like. Calm, powerful, unapologetically black. He stood at the crossroads of cinema, sport, and culture, and walked his path with quiet confidence. He didn't chase the spotlight, he earned it. And when it dimmed, he kept walking, head high, heart steady. His legacy lives not just in film reels, but in the pride he gave to so many. This wasn't just a career, it was a statement, and it still speaks.